Hello and welcome back to Koru Kiwi Arts. It's great to be back. Now today I decided to do something a little different. When I was living in Australia, when I was 26, maybe a little younger, I'm not sure, but the one thing that really impressed me was the sky, the night sky. I've never seen a night sky like it. I could see the whole perimeter of the hemisphere around the planet, because it's up on this hill of stones or boulders or rocks. They weren't put there deliberately, they were there naturally. And the sky was so dark and so clear. It's not like any other place in the world that I've ever seen a sky like this. It was so bright that I could see it with the naked eye. I don't need glasses to see it. And right around the perimeter was a glow of the sun coming from the underside of our planet, and it was creating a glow around 360 around the perimeter of the hemisphere. And it was absolutely amazing, especially seeing all the constellations and all the stars and everything. And I want to try and paint this for you to give you an idea of what I saw. So please sit down, grab yourself a drink. If you haven't done this already, please subscribe to our channel, or please subscribe to our Instagram channel as well. And thank you again for watching. Okay, now I'm going to be using just these colors: white, a blue black, it's quite a nice color, a yellow, a grey, and a red. I know I could make a grey by mixing colours up, but I'm not going to waste my time in doing that. We're just going to get into it and paint this scene for you. So I'm just going to put them over here, and just give me a minute and I'll put them on my palette and I'll start painting. So there we go. I've just put them on my palette. It's one of these removable palettes that after you finish you can just peel off the paper and use the next one that's ready, available for you, and many more, as you can see. But I prefer to use a plate because I'll let you know about that later. In fact, I've mentioned it before in a previous video about the things that I do when it comes to painting. Okay, so this is from my imagination. I'm going to try and think of this as if I'm there many years ago. So I'm going to start painting the rocks first and the land. Now, Dampier is an island that was built. Well, Dampier was there. What I mean was built. They built a piece of land that joined Koru and Dampier together. Let me get that. Sorry about that, just someone at the door. So I'm just going to paint some rocks here, and I'm going to add some red in there as well, because Dampier is red and orange, but because it's night time I'm just going to paint it red. It's going to be obviously a dark red. I can add a bit of orange in there by mixing the yellow and red up if I wanted to. I sort of contradicted myself before when I said I didn't want to mix any colours, but never mind. My wife, she ordered some olive oil and something else. So yes, so Dampier was a bit of land that was separated to the mainland, and they joined it up to Koru. And like a little oasis in some ways, because when you see it, it's completely green, because they bring the water inland, and all the people that live in Dampier have beautiful gardens, and they plant trees and whatever, and so it's completely green. Not completely green, because the outside area there are salt fields and railway lines and whatever, and it's very orange and red, and there's a lot of iron ore located everywhere, so that's why the rocks are orangey brownish colour, because it's iron and they're corroded, so all the rocks are rusty. But it never rains in Dampier. Well, it does every 8 years, but it gets very hot. Last time I was there it was up to 56 centigrade or 48 degrees. It's very hot, and it's dry. It's a dry heat, so when you're outside you don't sweat. It's quite unusual, but it's quite an amazing place. It's very barren. There's no lakes or anything like that except the sea, salt sea out to the Indian Ocean. So their water comes from inland and it's pumped in for miles and miles, like 200 miles from inland. And yeah, I lived there for about 6 months. I worked in a place just around the corner. I lived with my father for a while, and I've got no paper towels. I have to go and get a paper towel. One moment. Okay. Now, yeah, I worked there for a little while. So I'm just going to pretend that this is some rocks, and I'm going to draw the land that is away from us. Let's do that as an orange, like that. There's no mountains or hills. There may be, I just can't remember, but there certainly wasn't any mountains. In that part of the country, Western Australia. So I'm just doing this from my imagination, like I said, and I'm just trying to capture it all for you, give you an idea of what I saw. Because sometimes when you describe something to someone, it's not easy to get your message across. Sometimes it's better to sketch it or show them some drawings. And now you've probably seen photographs of night skies that have been digitally enhanced by people. You get these new apps now. You can just take a photo of the sky and you can add stars and whatever, and it looks pretty impressive. Well, it's all fake. And well, there are parts of the world where you can see that, and one of them happens to be where I was, Dampier, and that's what I saw. So in those days, back in 1979 or 1981, I'm not sure, but it was a long time ago. I didn't have a camera. There were cameras about, but they weren't high-tech digital cameras as we have today. We didn't have phones like we had today, so I could have taken lots of pictures. Photos is a way of helping us remember things from the past, capturing things like a time capsule, preserving time forever until someone decides to delete it or remove it. So that's why it's important to try and protect these things for future generations or family members to enjoy. Right, so enough of me talking. I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm just going to keep painting. Give your ears a bit of a rest, and you can listen to some music. Very large, and there's certainly plenty of them there. I'll add some orange to them later. This is the land, so let's add a little bit of darkness in there. I'm using just an old brush that I picked up, so I'm drawing the shadows here on the other side. I've raised bits of land or soil. It's quite flat in most places. So this part here are some, like I mentioned, rocks. So let's make it orange. I'm going to do a bit of yellow and orange. Sort of quite a dirty sort of orange. I dry my brush, clean it a little bit, get the paint, that dark colour off it, and so let's add this bit of orange. Looks more like yellow, it doesn't matter, on there. There's not much plant life outside the perimeter of Dampier. Because it's a desert. I normally don't paint like this, but I'm just painting fast and free. In fact, it's quite nice because I normally paint lots of detail, and sometimes I like to let loose and express myself with my paintbrush and go to town. You can always tell the personality of an artist by the way they paint, where they show their expression. or their personality through the way they paint. By looking at the strokes they make. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy with that. It's coming together nicely. I'm going to make this part here a little darker, so I'm going to add a little of this black blue and behind the rocks. Thank you again for watching. Sometimes when I paint, I feel like I should give up because it's not looking good. But never give up. Just keep going with it, because you'd be surprised. Sometimes it all comes together. I have this picture in my head, and I'm trying to capture it on this picture here. Maybe I should add a little bit of red and a little bit of grey. Make a purple. That's what it's going, a dark purple. That's it. Right, that's more like it. Rocks are fun to paint. Now, I'm going to put a yellow across there and a bit of white, because this is what I saw. Try and clean up this paintbrush. I've got too much other colour in there. As soon as I add white, it's going to change the white into another colour, because I have too much other paint, too much blue, too much red on my paintbrush. I can simply go to the sink and wash them again. Maybe use a different paintbrush, but no, that'll be alright. Yeah, it's better. Okay, so let's do some white. I know you're not going to see it, but I'm going to add a bit of yellow in there as well. A bit of white and yellow. My paintbrush slightly from one side to the other. In a horizontal way. Oh, yep, that's looking better. Now let's add a little bit of darkness to that. So I've got a little bit of this little darker orange here, or darker yellow, and I'm going to apply that and try and blend it in. Now, with acrylics, if you make a mistake, you can always paint over it, because it's not like watercolours. Watercolours, you start off with a light colour and you build it up with a dark colour, but with acrylics you can put light colours or dark colours on top of each other. It doesn't matter once it's dry. But I just want to get more of this looking more like a watercolour than an acrylic painting. So I'm going to add the dark at the top. I might even add some black in there. So still playing? Yeah. Still playing. So let's just get some of this grey on here. I could use a bigger paintbrush. I should. Now the sky was completely black, and there was no haze in the sky whatsoever. Not like New Zealand. In New Zealand you can see all the stars, but there's this haze in the darkness. So when you look at the black areas, you see like this white, misty, hazy little dots. It's probably because we live quite close to the Antarctic South Pole, and so the hemisphere is different. It doesn't really, you get a clear sky, but it's hard to get a good close-up or get a good fix or get your stars in focus with your eyes or your camera because of this mist. But in Australia, up in Dampier, it's dry, there's no moisture in the air, it's just dry as. So when you look up, you just see blackness, no mist, nothing. And so it's just so beautiful. Now let me go and get the black. Okay, I got some black. I could add different colours to get a black, but this is not a tutorial on how to paint. It's just me telling a story of what I saw. So I'm just trying to quickly draw something up or paint something, so it gives you an idea. Now, I've been everywhere, well not everywhere, but I've been to America, and I've been to Australia, and some islands, New Zealand, Turkey, but I've never seen a sky like this. It was completely black, but it was glowing all the way around the outside edge. It was like a dome. You had this feeling that you're in like a fish tank. That's what it felt like. I was in a round fish tank because I could see all 360. So when I looked and turned around, I saw the same thing all the way around. And the glow, this glow here was all the way around the perimeter. It's amazing. And the sun, this is the reflection all the sun rays from the sun, from the outer edge of the earth glowing or sending its light, and it just fades into darkness as it dilutes. I'm getting more of this colour, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to try and blend it. There's no clouds in the sky whatsoever. No clouds, because they have no rain. There's no clouds. So let's try and get this nice and straight and try and blend it. Let's water this down a bit more. And let's add some white in there. But first I have to get rid of the black from the paintbrush. And there's certainly a lot on the paintbrush. So I'm going to add a bit of white down the bottom, because the light was a lot more brighter on the bottom. That's how I saw it. And maybe I should go add a little bit across here. Let's add some more yellow across here. Try and I could do a whole set of paintings like this. Put no description on it. See if people can understand what it means. Let people guess. It's funny, in the old days people used to just paint and let the viewer guess what the painting is all about, but now people want to know what the paintings are about, so you have to put a description about your painting, because they can't work out what your painting's about. So, not quite straight. Let's try and fix it up. I have to be careful, because they could turn the sky green if I add too much of this black to the yellow. Okay. So, here we go. So, there we have a dark sky and some land and some rocks. So I'm going to paint myself, if I can, here. Put my head there and a neck, some shoulders, maybe a little, some hands, torso, hips, and hope you can see that. So yeah, so that's me. That's me there. Let's do maybe some bit of yellow reflections. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes when you do too much. No. I'm going to paint over that part because it doesn't really work. Let's paint over those bits there. Okay. Now let's put the stars in. Don't know what sort of groups they are in. I'm just going to randomly put some stars in here. Adding all those stars with a bit of omission, but I eventually got there. It's the first time I actually painted the stars. But, well, not really. I have painted them, but not as many as this. So here we go. So it's a close idea of what I saw, but seeing it in person is an experience that, wow, I will never forget. And thank you again for watching. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please stay tuned by subscribing to our channel. So have a wonderful